Well, I had a different video planned for today, but I learned something. My Albedo build sucks!
Coming to be! So full of shit. A miscalculation!
Basically, I was going to make a team with Albedo in it, and I realized Albedo just doesn't do enough damage with his skills, so I was like, back to the drawing board. And here we are. I need my Albedo to
What could it be?
get his shit together. And right now, I'm between 3 weapons that I want to use on Albedo because I want him to do a lot of damage. And he just doesn't do enough damage, in my opinion. Harbinger of Dawn, as you can see here, crit damage 38.6. And with that, I get a crit damage of 158 and crit rate of 65 if my health is above 90%. So, that's fine. But then we have the Festering Desire right here. It's at R5 like the other sword, the Harbinger of Dawn, but it's at level 90. And his energy recharge goes all the way up. And he does 119 crit damage and 37.3. And I'm like, that's fine, right? Because the Festering Desire's freaking substat is elemental crit skill damage by 32 and elemental skill rate by 12%. And then I'm like, I don't know. I just don't know. Which one's better? I still don't know. I'm like, I don't want to waste all my resources on just figuring out what sword I want to put on Albedo now, do I? And then, the worst part of it all is that there's a sword that was leaked that's the perfect sword for him, apparently. Like, defense percent is the main stat, because if you go to talents, if you're going to do a skill damage, it scales off defense. And there, guess what? Newsflash, there aren't any defense swords. So I'm like, I could wait on that sword and see how that goes, because its substat is basically, yeah, let me do all this defense damage and make it into skill damage. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good one too. And I'm just so confused. Considering my artifacts on him, we got a defense piece, because obviously you need defense on this man to even do any damage. And you have crit damage. This one was pretty good. Defense, elemental mastery for that crystallization damage that I need. Crit rate's pretty high too. Yeah, I'm like, this is fine, this is fine. And then we have this piece. I'm like, this is pretty good. Crit rate 12.4, crit damage, yeah. I'm flat defense. I'm like, yeah, this is good. And then we have this piece. And it's back to attack. And I'm like, well, I can't beg. I'm like, I give up. I don't know what to do with this man. This man has like, I kid you not, this video, I mean, my team, not this video, my team has been like 3 months in the making. And I have like held off every time because I'm like, Albedo just isn't good enough. I feel like he should do more damage. And because of that, I hold off every time. Like, some of these pieces, I'll be honest, aren't the best. Like, don't get me wrong, I could do better. But given the circumstances, and this game is just RNG at times, like, what are you supposed to do? Like, you can't like pick like specific stats you want on artifacts. Like, that's too hard. That's too easy. You need that grinding on this free-to-play game. So I was like, well, I got what I got, and I can't get mad. Like, in honesty, if like this is like the one time I would want defense percent on these artifacts. Like, given the circumstances, if this was on anyone else, this setup would be the best in the world. But on Albedo, it just sucks. It just sucks. Well, these are my stats on my Albedo, and, well, 1460 defense. Oh my god, oh man, he needs more defense. His crit rate, 34.2, 119.5 with Festering Desire attached. Like, what can you do? Like, at this point, there's only one thing left to do for Albedo, and that is to test his damage. Alright, this is gonna be my definitive team when Albedo gets his shit together. What Albedo can do with this team comp. And why he's so important to be able to do so much elemental skill damage. Basically gonna be like this.
Amuse me. Surrender
Screw your
is a
bows.
valid option.
Go.
I promise.
And then
I'll be
scale up.
gentle.
And then bam. Look at this damage. You see this? This is what Albedo is supposed to be. Look at that.
Some progress.
Albedo.
Price of us. Coming to be.
Alright.
Illusion shattered.
No, ow. Yeah. Ow. No, you don't. Ow. Come on. Yeah. You see this damage? This is what a team comp does with Albedo. That's right. That should give you an idea of why Albedo is so important. You can't do any of that damage without him. His elemental skill is the base of my entire team, and my entire team cannot do anything without a good Albedo. I'm still complaining about it because I'm salty. Harbinger of Dawn test time with Albedo. Here we go. Albedo's the first one to go. Then bam, and then bam, and then bam. You see that? You see that? 8.2k. 9.4k. Oh no, you don't.
Illusion shatter.
Oh, you do.
See that 2.7k? 2.7k. Okay, let's see that geo damage. 2.7k again. 3.6k. Bam. You guys saw that? I hope you saw that. It just doesn't make sense. His crit rate is 62.2%. His crit damage is 158.1%. But why can't he crit? Why? Just why? The Harbinger of Dawn gives all this stuff, but it can't crit. Why? I was able to do more damage with a freaking Festering Desire. I don't understand. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe it's my level of my weapon. It could be that. But do I want to admit that? No. What is wrong with it? Why, in theory, I should be doing more damage. But in reality, I just don't do enough damage. This is why it's painful. This is why I wanted to make this video. To complain of why Albedo's build just isn't working. The Festering Desire just works more than Albedo's regular sword. It just doesn't make sense. Probably in the comments someone's gonna tell me, if everyone watches this video is gonna tell me why it doesn't make sense. Probably gonna say it's the level of the weapon, and I'll be like, well, prove it. But as you can see from that, what did we gather? Information-wise, apparently the Festering Desire makes more sense on Albedo than the freaking Harbinger of Dawn is insanely higher crit damage. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I want to understand, but I just can't. It doesn't make any sense. And you might be curious, maybe it's the artifacts I put on my other teammates. Guess what? It shouldn't matter. Albedo by himself should be able to do more skill damage. And he just isn't able to. And you'll know what my artifact build is when I make the definitive team video. You'll know them. You'll know what Gene, Ball, and Jungling have. But until then, Albedo just sucks. He sucks to build. He doesn't suck as in like he's terrible, no one should summon for him. He sucks in the sense of he's just a pain to build. He's such a pain to build. You don't know what to put on him, you don't know what to do with him. Like, it's so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard to build with this man. This man is the bane of my existence. So what are we gonna do from that video? From this video, what am I going to do? For now, I will put this Festering Desire on Albedo in the hopes that for some reason he keeps doing damage. 8k. I want 8k damage, Albedo. You better give me 8k damage. You hear me? I better see that 8k damage, Albedo. All I'm saying. His crit damage is 120, almost. 34.2 crit rate. But he does more crit damage somehow with the Festering Desire. I don't get it. I still don't get it. I think we're keeping the Festering Desire on him. Until then, we're gonna keep waiting until my definitive team video is out. And no one's gonna watch that either. Because no one's gonna watch me rant about Albedo and two swords that one should statistically do more damage, but doesn't. Well, until then, thanks for watching whoever's watching. If no one's watching, that's fine too. And let's be honest, no one's gonna watch this video. If anyone does, I salute you for your persistence. Because these are like videos I don't want to make, but I just have to because I get sidewinded by the fact that the build that I was gonna go with just wasn't gonna work out. And here we are. And trust me, there were other parts of that build I had to change. I changed all the artifacts in this build for Albedo. Multiple times. He is the most expensive artifact build character I've done. And no, he does not share artifacts with anyone else. Everyone has their own separate artifacts. I will never swap artifacts. Because that's annoying. Just get lucky. And as you can see, I'm not lucky.